Hello and welcome to another Battlefield production live. We're doing veteran voices, and just to let you guys know, just because somebody is not a combat veteran doesn't mean that their story isn't important. And today we have a special guest, Scott, who is going to share with us his story. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show, Scott. Oh, you're muted.
Dude, did you start your intro just by being like, just because he's a pogue? The fuck was that?
Maybe.
You got into it before I could. You know what I mean? I was going to be like, look, this is going to be an interesting one, bro.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So, obviously, before we dive in, are there any topics you'd prefer to avoid today, Scott?
Ones that violate YouTube's terms of service. That's it.
Okay. That's fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like, don't be like, do you think we should shoot transgender people? Yes or no? And how many bullets will it take? You know what I mean? Like don't do that and we're good. I don't care.
Right. Okay. All right. And how would you like to be introduced? And is there anything you'd like the audience to know up front?
Yeah. Hello. My name is Scott, Fabian Liberty. You can find me by just looking up Fabian Liberty on YouTube or just Google it or whatever. Or find it on X, Twitter, etc. I am you reached out for this and I was just like, that could be fun. That could be interesting. I think it might be a fun talk just because I am, I became a libertarian and then an anarcho-capitalist through the military, while I was in the military. So I might be one of the few people to come on here that is not only a pogue, but also don't join the military, guys. It's a bad deal. Don't do that. This is bad. I don't support the state. So I think it should be an interesting take. Maybe you'll get some hate watchers and that'll be fun. Who knows what'll happen, but I'm happy to get into it. And, and if you want to learn about libertarianism, specifically deep cut stuff like anarcho-capitalism, hardcore libertarianism, if you will. Oh, what's up, guys? I had no idea there was a crossover with our audience. Then come follow me, and it should be fun.
Yeah, should be. I've watched a few of yours, and you're not everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay. Not everybody's gonna be.
As Liquid Zulu says, I'm preaching to the remnant, right? Like I'm doing, he's put in a video. Is a great way of putting it. It's like, I'm not your Dave Smith. I'm not your libertarian everybody knows. Like, we're preaching to the remnant. We're doing Isaiah's job. Like, we are the radicals that are preaching to the few so that when shit hits the fan, there's a few people that are like, no, this is how we rebuild things.
Right. Okay. So, first question: what branch and MOS role did you serve in?
I was in the Army. I was a 68 whiskey or combat medic slash healthcare specialist. Everything I did was obviously a healthcare specialist.
Hmm.
Self-identified.
And what motivated you to join the Army?
Um, so if I the primary one would just be the GI Bill, right? I think it's a pretty common thing that there are a lot of people that join the military that are, you know, maybe a bit of a fucked up family life. Things didn't quite go on that, like, that perfect millennial story of like, oh, you're going to go to college and then you're going to do this and you're going to do that. I was traveling the East Coast with gypsies and they self identified that way. I'm not using that as a slur.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and doing like construction work and shit. And I was like, dude, I'm the smart guy. Like, what the fuck happened here? Like, I need to correct my fucking life. But
Right.
then on top of that, every one of my fathers from father to son up to the Mexican American War was a U.S. Army veteran.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I don't know that they imposed it on me, but that was certainly kind of like a back of the mind thing. Like, what are you doing, man? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is also part of the legacy. Cause at the time I wasn't like a hardcore libertarian or anything. I
Right.
was just kind of like waffling. I was lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're almost like Lieutenant Dan's story a little bit, except
A little bit,
you know,
a little bit.
except not
Believe it or not,
everybody died every single war.
yeah, no, my direct descendant, as far as I can go back from military in the army, would be General Winfield Scott, who
Mm-hmm.
was who invented the transportation corps during the Mexican American War, and he
Mm-hmm.
was also the one that came up with Lincoln's Anaconda Plan
Mm-hmm.
to separate the Mississippi blockade during the Civil War,
Oh,
and
okay.
also known as Old Fuss and Feathers. I feel like he had a shit personality, but whatever. That's my
Yeah.
forefather. You
Right.
know.
Yeah. Um, so what was your initial training experience like? You said you were a medic, so
Um, I was homeless for a period of my life before going into the military, and I was a little bit older. And so like I was like 20. I was already in my 20s, early 20s, right? I don't want to
mhm,
dox myself too much with timeline, but we'll say I was in my early 20s,
mhm,
and then and so like like when Shark Attack happened and like Hell Week and Basic and things like that happened, I was kind of this mindset of like, dude, I've gone 3.5 days without food before. Like
mhm,
this guy that's not allowed to beat me up is gonna yell at me, and then after he's done yelling at me, we're gonna walk to the DFAC. This is great. You
mhm.
know, like so. I mean, like it still did change me, but I
Right.
think that I had like a that psychosis that you go through in basic where they're
Mhm,
breaking you down, and then all of
mhm.
a sudden you get this really gung ho kind of oorah hua whatever fucking energy of like
Yeah.
these are my brothers. I would die for my brothers. I kind of had that, but I
Mhm,
didn't have that same experience because I was a little bit older. I've been through some shit, and like I was very focused on like I'm here for a GI Bill. I'm here to get my life straight. I'm a loser. Fix
mhm.
me, army. You know.
Right.
So it was fun, and then yeah, and then AIT like everybody else, and went and did the medic stuff and went to school or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was. I mean, it was fun. It was just kind of it just was.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have a billion stories to tell of
Mhm,
like random things that happened or fun stuff.
mhm. And not so fun stuff too.
Well, for a fun story, right? We're being lighthearted because I'm going to shit on the military a lot. The concept, not necessarily my personal experience, right? So, fun
Right.
story. We were in bays in AIT. We were like one of the last people that were still in like old bays instead of like those little like apartment rooms. And
Mhm,
fucking 68 whiskey takes a while. I mean, it's not like nuclear submarine or something, but it still takes a while.
mhm,
And it was shit. And we had there was like asbestos fucking everywhere. And so like we weren't allowed to like buff our floors in our specific bay because that would cause asbestos to go in the air, which is like, cool, Army. Thank you for dilapidated structures and just pretending like it's not an issue. But
Mhm.
anyways, so um our um our first sergeant would like just come and give us shit every single time about how it was dirty and disgusting. And he was just
Mhm.
riding our ass to ride our ass. Like he didn't like mean anything of it. It was just another kind of like training mechanism thing. And so he was just give us shit. So we had a couple guys sneak off post and buy a pressure wash, rent a pressure washer, and then sneak a pressure washer back on post because they like knew some. One of the guys knew somebody that was stationed at Fort Sam Houston, right? And so they
Mhm.
like used him to sneak off post, rent a we pressure washed the bathroom and then got it back to that guy and got it off post without him knowing. And he comes in and he's like, "What the fuck did you like?" He's like flabbergasted because we're cleaning with equipment that we shouldn't have, and the equipment's
Mhm.
gone, and he knows something's up, right? So he's secretly proud of us, and he then brings the like not the like the 1-star general of the post of like TRADOC facility, right?
Mhm.
To come look at our bays. Because secretly this whole time, without telling us and only giving us shit, he has been really proud of what we're doing because we've been working so hard to make these bays clean. And he gets there and he's showing off like, look how great I did with these soldiers and everything. And he
Mhm.
gets to one of the desks and he opens it up, and somebody had left like a whole bag of pistachios that were just all in there. And and of course now he's an embarrassment, right? Like he thought he
Mhm.
was going to show off, and now we've got contraband in a place we're not supposed to have it. So he loses his shit, smokes a dog shit out of us, whatever, whatever, whatever. We're pissed because like you've done nothing but shit on us this entire time, and then secretly you're proud of us, and then one person has pistachios and you smoke the dog shit out of us and like yell and scream at us for like 10 hours like we're the worst of the worst.
Mhm.
So what we started doing is we started trading details with the other platoons, and we started leaving post-it notes to torture our first sergeant playfully everywhere that he was. And what we would do is we would get the detail to clean his room even when we weren't supposed to have it. And then we would leave like a post-it note on his computer desk on like his screen. And it would just be a famous quote, but we would replace a word with pistachio. And like so it'd be like a pistachio a day keeps the doctor away on like a post-it note on his desk. Or like we'd get the permission to go clean his car, and then like under his windshield wiper it would just be like, with great pistachios comes great responsibility. And like, and and he kept smoking us, but at that point it was like that mentality where you were just playful, like it like there's something that you can't explain to people that weren't in the military, where you could
Mhm.
get yelled and screamed at and forced to do workouts, but you're laughing and smiling the whole time.
Right.
So there's a good story for me. I had you had a lot of bullshit, but I that was probably like the funnest time I ever had,
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
finding ways, and we were brainstorming like what's another quote. You know what I mean? Because we don't have our cell phones or anything. We're like, what's another quote, man? Like, oh,
Yeah.
you got to come up with one.
Right. Wow, that is funny. Um, I didn't have anything like that happen, but I did have my senior drill sergeant tell one of the privates one time he saw a squirrel near his car, and he was like, "Hey, tell that squirrel to get away!" And the private just went running after the squirrel, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Uh, stupid stuff like that, but you know, um, we were we were all very, you know, adapt to
what were your what was
entertaining
your
ourselves.
what was your MOS?
I was 74 Delta Chemical Operations Specialist. I was
Oh,
the
okay.
NBC
So
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
all right, cool. So smart and get to have fun.
You're right.
It's
And watch it.
one of the few ones where you get to do cool shit and it's a bunch of smart people. I'm kind of jealous. Medic was kind of like that. There's a lot of smart people
Yeah.
in the medics, and then like every now and then you get to do cool shit. I never got to do anything too cool.
Right. Yeah. So did you have any preconceived expectations that changed once you were in?
Not really. But that's because like I grew up with my great grandpa, my grandpa, and my dad that were all vets, right?
Mhm.
Um, like my dad was in Iraq in like the initial. invasion as a truck driver, even though he was a watercraft operator first. And as soon as he re-enlisted, he was gonna like drop his packet to be a warrant officer in like
Yeah.
in the boat field. And then they were like, actually, you have orders to be a truck driver in Iraq. And he was like, fucking cool.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was was an MP in Vietnam, and like my great grandfather was a tanker in World War II. So like there was a lot of like I knew shit that like most other people didn't know. Like one of the things my dad did is he gave me a bunch of Ziploc bags when I went to basic. And like I was the only one that night with a Sharpie and Ziploc bags, and I took like my duffel bag when we got all our shit and rolled it up and put it into Ziploc bags and was like 8 socks. And like, and then when we did Shark Attack and they dumped all our shit, they were like, "Who the fuck is this private?" Like he's got like, like they were all like, and then they like swarmed me, and then but they were also like, "This is what you should be doing," So like I kind of had like a bit of a hint of what to expect from my family in a way that like was probably a bit of a privilege, not to overuse the word privilege. I don't mean it like the woke people. I just mean like I knew what to expect to a certain degree.
Oh. So basically you were displaying your white privilege, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, hardcore.
I hear that. What was a typical day like in your job?
When I got out of AIT, I was in MEDAC, and I was basically I worked mostly with civilians. I had a very strange experience in the military. I had the pogest of pogue jobs, right? So my days were really, really long, right? Like we didn't go to formation in the morning, right? What we would do is we'd go to the gym ourselves, and then, maybe with like a couple other soldiers, go take a quick shower and then get to work. And I worked at an SRC clinic. And so medical inventory would be something I did that day. Insurance briefings, because I was at like so I did soldier readiness processing. And so, I mean, it was like, I would have to do spreadsheets to fucking figure out, whether or not the civilian nurses were up to date on like their vaccination, medical, like continuing education credits and things like that. I would have to make sure that they were doing their trainings. I would have to do insurance briefings for new soldiers. We would have like blood drives. So there would be a lot of like, when people need to get their HIV, like when you pop up red on Med Pros, right? So like I would do vaccinations, pull titers for people to see if they needed their shots. When soldiers would deploy, like we would go to the airfield in a van with a bunch of shit, because there's always like 1 or 2 soldiers that would try and sneak in to fucking Afghanistan, not getting their smallpox, and be like, "Hey dude, we see you. We have records. You can't go to Afghanistan without a fucking leishmaniasis shots and without fucking smallpox. You're gonna spread a fucking epidemic in the goddamn unit." Like, so then people would be like, "Ah, fuck," and then we would do PDHAs and PDHRAs, so post deployment health assessments, post deployment health reassessment. So we would do a lot of that. So it was, and then and then after the office would close, I did a lot of work coding medical records for like other clinics that were behind. So like my day started at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get home, or I didn't get to the barracks until like 2000, 2100 a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I had these really long office job experience. Just to give you an example of how office job it was, I would like call like first sergeants and be like, "Hey, you have a bunch of people in your unit that are red," or like, it's probably time to schedule something. And they'd be like, "Okay, put me in on Tuesday." And I'm like, "The schedule isn't open for that. You're behind." He's like, "Well, I'm red on stuff." And I'm like, "Well, you're gonna have to wait a month. I don't know what to tell you." And then they'd be like, "Let me talk to your next in chain of command." And I'll be like, "Well, Staff Sergeant's out, so my next in chain of command is Lieutenant Colonel." You want to talk to
Mhm.
Lieutenant Colonel about this? And they'd be like, what the fuck? No. Like, just
Yeah.
put me on the schedule for that. It was like, whose chain of command is like
Yeah.
one NCO and then a lieutenant colonel, right? Like, it was a very weird position where like people would like flex on me. I'd be like, I'll go get the lieutenant colonel if you really want. And then
Mhm.
like that, it was a completely different reaction from like first sergeants that are used to just shitting on a specialist and then being like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
so it
Right.
was a very like office medical job and a lot of work in that domain.
Mm. Um. So this is the part that you probably will dive in a little bit. What was one thing civilians might be surprised to learn about military life? And I can't wait to hear this.
I think civilians drastically underestimate how much of military life is like adult daycare.
Mm-hmm.
Like that seems to be the like I number two would be just how much money's worth of shit I was in charge of as like a very low ranking person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like number one, it's like there's a lot of micromanagement and bureaucracy and like all of your life is controlled by like some 25-year-old that has no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is like in
Yeah.
charge of everything. And then the second is like, you know, like it's like, dude, you don't understand like well not you personally, but I'll tell
Right.
people like you don't understand like I was in charge of like fucking $2 million worth of equipment. Like I was, you know what I mean? People
Mm-hmm.
are like,
Yeah.
fucking what? And I'm like, that's not that crazy in the army. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty normal that like a low ranking person is signed for like a lot of money's
Right.
worth of stuff, you know? Um, so yeah, you know, like I don't think that would be my personal, those would be like the two things that I think civilians would be shocked to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't have the deployment or the, combat unit kind of experience in that regard, right? And
Right.
I think also that's probably another thing is like the conception of the soldier is like a frontline soldier or like someone that goes and fights in war and
Mm-hmm.
constantly going to the gun range and training. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like they don't realize that like, well, no, mostly what those dudes are doing is like fixing things that aren't really that broken in the motor pool or doing a lot of cleaning. And
Mm-hmm.
then like
Yeah.
and they also don't know just how much support soldiers exist, which I don't think most of them should exist. Even if I'm
Mm-hmm.
like supporting the military, I feel like you could get rid of like 70% of soldiers and just make
Yeah.
them civilian jobs. There's a lot of shit that it's like, why do we have quartermaster? Why do we have HR fucking soldiers? Like what? Why do soldiers need HR? Like what? Like why do soldiers need like a sharp representative to talk about sexual assault response and prevention and shit?
Right.
Like there's so many
Yeah.
things where I'm just like, dude, a civilian could be doing this. Like there's no
Mm-hmm.
reason for soldiers. It's like why are you training these people in basic training and making sure they qualify at the range, you know, a minimum of like once every 6 months and doing field training exercises and AIT and all this shit when you just hire a civilian? This feels like a waste of money.
Yeah.
So I think people would be surprised to know that there's like Dentac exists, that there's a
Mm-hmm.
whole sector of soldiers that are dentists and dental technicians. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That is true. And you were talking about the $1 million worth of equipment. If you showed somebody a picture of the equipment we used, they would be like, "There's no way that cost $1 million."
Oh God, yeah.
And the weird thing is too, like all of the like you look at the Chinooks, the Blackhawks, the Apaches, all that was made
Mm-hmm.
by the lowest bidder. So you're like kind of nervous
Don't
when
I
you're
know it?
in those. You're like, this is made by the lowest bidder. How safe is
Okay, but
it?
let's be honest, right? Like that is a common joke you would hear all the time from the military and from
Hmm.
people, right? Oh, this is made by the lowest bidder. But it's like, no, it's a socialist monopoly, right? Like
Hmm.
it's not like there's a free market of open bid contracts. There's a
Right.
person that's a civilian that sits at a fucking desk somewhere, and their job is to pick between three companies that are licensed to make whatever this fucking thing is,
Hmm.
right? Like it's the lowest bidder, sure, out of the three companies that are allowed to bid. Like it's
Right.
not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, and then they
Yeah.
change interchangeably every couple
Mhm.
years on who makes the O-rings on this fucking thing that get bought, right? Like it's
Right.
like, so I mean, like it's the illusion of like a market economy, but it's a deeply socialist monopolistic thing which drives
Mhm.
up the cost, right?
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, and makes things way more expensive than they need to be. But also it's like they're deeply regulated. Like they're not really the lowest bidder per se. Like that's kind
Right.
of, I feel like I'm not trying to be a dick towards you or anything. It's just like I feel like most people don't, especially soldiers, don't understand how that process actually works. In
Mhm.
Because in reality, it's just a bunch of cherry picked companies and defense contractors.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
missed that one. What did he say about the lithium battery? Was billed for $100.
Flashlight build. Yeah. Yeah. I
I
had a
remember my
buddy in
dad.
supply. Yeah.
My
You'd
dad.
be surprised.
My dad came back from Iraq, his tour in Iraq, and he goes, "Dude, let me tell you, man, the next time a war is about to pop off, you need to invest in whatever company makes the fucking glow sticks." He's like, the amount of fucking glow sticks that are used in war is insane. And
Yeah.
he's like, every time I go around a turn at night on a truck, shooting out glow sticks so we don't get lost as a convoy, right? Because
Yeah. Mhm.
you don't want to split up the convoy by accident, even though you
Mhm.
pre-plan the route. Shit happens, you get scared or something, or you know what I mean? Like you panic or something. Shit happens, right? So you go around a corner. Every well, a couple of the trucks are shooting out like 7 or 8 glow sticks at every fucking corner at night. He's like, dude, like the amount of glow. He's like, it has to be like $1 trillion industry. Like it's insane. He's like, they're not cheap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. We used glow sticks in room clearing a lot
Yeah,
too.
they're
Great.
used in like fucking
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like whoever's
Everything.
making the glow sticks, next war that pops up, I'm mad the Venezuela war only lasted a couple hours because I didn't get an opportunity to invest in glow stick company. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I could have been
Yeah.
you and me, Mike. We could have been rich.
Yeah. We could have. Yeah. Exactly, man. It is crazy how much glow sticks are used. Um. So, were there skills or habits you learned that you still use today?
Um, to this day, I have a sense of anxiety of walking on grass. I'm not joking. I don't like not a deep anxiety, but like
Right.
for
Yeah.
whatever I can't do it. It's like if there's a
Right.
sidewalk, I'm walking on the sidewalk. There's no part like it's like it's almost crazy to me when I see someone. I'm like, you're just walking on the fucking grass. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've been a civilian for fucking a decade now. Like, why do I need to give a fuck about the grass?
Right.
But
Right.
so that is one habit I've picked up that is just hardcore. I'm probably more clean than I used to be.
Mhm.
Um, that's one thing. A little more organized, a little bit more clean. But
Right.
the grass walking one fucking stuck with me. I don't know why. Of all the things, it stuck with me. And I walk faster than normal people.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I walk faster. I eat faster. I don't walk on grass. If there's a pathway, and I'm a little bit cleaner. Those are probably the habits that stuck with me.
Yeah. I gotta ask you, because it took me a while when you got out and people called you by your first name. Did they think you weren't listening to them, and then they finally called you by your last name, and you were like, "What?"
My roommate is also a veteran. Um, he was my co-host back in the day. He's not on camera these days. He said the walking fast is my doing. No, bitch, you fucking run and you call it walking. Brother, I can do like around normal people. Even before then, I could do laps around people. You just walk so fucking fast that I now walk faster than I used to walk. But don't. This is not purely you. We we both walk way too fast, and it's the military does that to you. Um,
Yeah. But do you
and
guys both walk fast in step with
he
each
walk
other though?
he walks faster. I don't know. I'm 6'5". I don't really walk in step with most people. Like I don't do that marching thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I still go by my last name. My last name's Scott.
Oh, Okay. All right.
It just happens to be one of those last names. It sounds like a
Right.
first name, which
Yeah.
is a great way to not get doxxed on the internet. It's just like,
Right.
yeah, it's Scott. Yeah, go look up all the Scotts in America. Tell me how long it takes for you to fucking dox me, bitch.
I get that, man.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. um, what's something the military taught you that you couldn't have learned anywhere else?
I don't think there's anything the military taught me that I couldn't have learned anything else. I mean, maybe some obscure thing that I can't think of right now. But I mean, like I feel like there's no hidden knowledge in the military that
Yeah.
is inaccessible. I mean, like maybe if you had like maybe if you worked in military intelligence or something, there would be, you know what I mean, something you could have learned because civilians are not privy to it.
Hmm.
But I would say no. I don't think there's anything that I could have learned the discipline. I could have learned how to be clean. I could have learned how
Hmm.
to medical knowledge. I could have learned all that outside.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't have the type of like. I mean, I think if I'm like I think the inefficiencies of government is something I might have taken a lot longer for me to learn outside of it. I mean, the
Hmm.
military definitely drove me towards libertarianism. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of veterans are fairly, they're not libertarian as I would define it, right? Which is
Hmm.
anarchist. But I think a lot of like when we looked at Ron Paul's bid for presidential campaign, the number
Hmm.
one supporter demographic group that supported Ron Paul was the military. There was
Hmm.
no other racial, ethnic, age, socioeconomic status category that was as high as was the military. And I think it's probably because a lot of people that work in the military are like, yeah, man, we need less government. Like we need less of this shit. We need, you know what I mean? Like we need somebody to come in that isn't just going to create a bunch of programs cuz like
Hmm.
this doesn't work. And then also some of the anti-interventionism thing, right? Cuz I think, there's plenty of young Iowa corn-fed boys that go into the military and then I think get disillusioned with
Hmm.
what occurs because their vision of war and their vision of the military and their vision of like what we're doing, you know what I mean, like that kind of idea that in the beginning of the Iraq war, right, of like, we're fighting for the hearts and minds of the Iraqi
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
And then you go there and then you're like, oh no, we're just like another group, we're just a competing group to fuck these
Hmm.
people's lives up, right? Like we're better than the Taliban, sure. um
Hmm.
but like, come on.
Yeah.
And I think if you have a fantasy that like can like really, so I think being in government, seeing how dumb some of that shit is, seeing how inefficient it is, and then having more of a firsthand experience of the military, certainly brings a lot of people towards that perspective. And while I didn't go into combat and I didn't have that experience per se, I certainly had a lot of experiences about the inefficiencies of government and the
Hmm.
stupidity of things. And it was like, oh yeah, man, this shit only works because they have an unlimited amount of money. Like they
Right.
constantly bitch about budget cuts, but at the end of the day, if they need more money, they'll just tax more money. It's like
Right.
this is not a well-oiled machine. Sometimes it'll impress you, right? Sometimes you'll just be like, how the fuck did they get all this together? And then and like sometimes it's impressive their practice, but I think
Hmm.
more often than not it's like, man, there's so many easier ways to do this, and it's like, hey sergeant, can I just do it this way? And then it's like, well buddy, no. What do you
Hmm.
mean you want to try it and do it a more efficient way? This is the way we do it, and this is the way my
Right.
boss told me to train you to do it. You want me to go to up the chain of command to fix this thing? This is a decision that's way above your head, private. Like, do it this way. And then you're just
Right.
doing it a dumb way, like, oh, this is not it. Like,
For sure. Um, let's see. How did serving shape your view on discipline, teamwork, and responsibility? Even if it was negative.
yeah, well, no, I'm trying to think about it. I think from a discipline perspective, it was certainly positive. I do think that the military taught me a sense of discipline, a
Mm-hmm.
sense of right because you have this. I think civilians that live in a cushy existence like we do here in America, they
Right.
have a they have a world philosophy built around willpower. They have and motivation even more so, right? Like their concept of accomplishing goals is based around a psychological whimsical feeling of like, how do I motivate myself? How do I make myself feel better about this task I need to do?
Right.
And I think in the military you learn, you know, after you get fucked by the big green weenie a few times, like your fucking your motivation is not what's fucking important. What's important is that there's a fucking mission to do, so you do it. And you have to learn to quiet that fucking I'm bored, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? You don't try and find motivation to do the task. You find the willpower and the discipline to complete the task. And I,
Mm-hmm.
I I think I think the world that we live in that is like a padded room sometimes here in like the first world. And so that is something that I think the military kind of forces upon you for better or worse. And I think for me it was better.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of teamwork and things like that, yeah, I don't know, man. I worked fairly independently, and when I did work with other people, they were usually idiots. And so I didn't I didn't have an experience that really forced me to engage in like this really good sense of understanding of teamwork and
Mm-hmm.
trusting others behind my back and things like that. But again, I think my experience was rather unique in terms of like working a lot with a lot of civilians with limited chain of command, being given a lot of tasks and responsibilities to do by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like most things I was tasked with doing weren't a part of a team. They were like, go into that room and count every single fucking thing in that entire room to make sure that
Right.
we haven't lost any of this. I was in weird leadership positions of civilians where it was like, make sure their training is done. Like most of the things I did were just independent. They weren't necessarily teamwork based.
Mm-hmm. If it all fails, has a question. Did it make you evaluate everything differently? Did it help you make decisions under stress?
Man, I could lie and say yeah and be gung ho about it,
Mm-hmm.
but like I'd already been through a lot of fucking stress in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'd already been through a lot of shit. Like I was raised by a mother who traded with BPD and by a genuine malignant narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
Not like every girl on the internet's last boyfriend was a narcissist because he told her not to wear that dress out in public, right? I mean,
Right.
like my stepfather, just as like one example, mugged my mother with a mask on and then hurried home to then be her savior and her protector because he wanted her to feel vulnerable in the neighborhood they were living in.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the type of family environment I grew up with. Like I didn't see most of it. Most of it was invisible, but I had no idea that like my stepdad was trying to figure out ways to entice my mother to beat me so that he could then save me so that I would see him as a hero. Right?
Right.
I had a fucked up childhood, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like and then I was homeless for a while and I was doing, coke with Armenian gypsies and construction work, and then I joined the army.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got to the army, I was just like, 3 meals a
Well,
day, we're good. I mean, like it was like what was defined as stress for me was just like that was more of an internal thing that I did to
mm-hmm.
myself. Like I probably took on more responsibilities than were even foisted on me just to stay busy.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Another one.
I just
What?
hot potatoed you by trauma. And you're
Yeah.
like, all right,
Right.
next question.
S- Next. Um.
We're having fun.
Yeah.
We're having a good
No,
time.
we are. We are. It's very good. What leadership qualities did you admire most in others?
I had a lieutenant colonel that was in charge of me. Um, and when I met him, he was a major, and he introduced me. He introduced himself to me by telling me, "I'm going to be Surgeon General one day."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, in my head, I'm like, "All right, dude," you know what I mean? This guy
Yeah.
graduated high school at like 15. He was in his late 20s. He was like 28, and he was already an OBGYN as well as as well as someone with a PhD in environmental science. He was married, he had a kid, and he was a major on his way to be promoted to a lieutenant colonel.
Wow.
And like, for me personally, as somebody, like I said, I kind of like had this internal thing of like, I got to do more. Him doing so much, like every day, like I told you, I would leave, like I would leave well after dark, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm leaving at like 8 or 9 o'clock, you know, 2000, 2100, you know, and like, and it'd be like, see you tomorrow, sir. Oh, yep, see ya. You know, like it was like he was just a workhorse. It was probably super unhealthy, to be honest. But
Right.
but nevertheless, like I was inspired by some of the people that were incredibly hardworking, right? Like, because like at the end of the day, you can be a dumbass, you can be super smart, you can be, you know, when you have competency and work ethic, I feel like those things really inspired me. And I saw that to a degree, maybe an unhealthy amount, like I said, but nevertheless, to a degree in the military in some people that you don't see anywhere else. Maybe CEOs of companies that are like trying to like, you know, become the Fortune 500 companies, those dudes that work like 90 hours a week. But like in the day-to-day world, you just don't see people work like that.
Yeah. I don't, you don't see a lot of people work like that, you know. Probably a good example of somebody that I would say works that hard was probably like Ben Carson, you know.
I had a lot of
Other than
disagreements, but yeah, he was a fucking I mean, went from fucking Detroit ghetto to fucking brain surgeon inventing brain surgeries to, you know, to working in charge of HUD. You know what I mean? Like that's a crazy fucking life. And also somehow still believing that the pyramids were definitely grain silos because God or something. You know what I mean? Like fucking he had some whacked out shit, but but he spent his time working. He didn't spend his time being normal, you know? You're gonna have some holdovers from your life. You're gonna believe some weird shit when you're just on the grind the entire time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For sure, man. So from your perspective, what was the toughest part of service? Was it physical, mental, or emotional?
I'm not very good at conforming. I'm an anarchist now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you probably could have guessed that about my personality just from that. I struggled to like keep my mouth shut and do what I'm supposed to do when I know that something's wrong. That was the biggest struggle for me. It was very difficult. Like when someone was like, you know, whatever it may be, tasks you to do this thing, and there's a chain of command, and it's like, I know that what you're telling me to do is not the way to do this, or like I know, like, and just being like, Roger, Sergeant. Heard, understood, acknowledged, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I'd let some of that attitude slip a little bit without actually letting it slip, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know that I was a very good soldier, to be honest, but nevertheless, you know, I struggled. I was never like an angry person, right? Like I was never a problem in that way, but I definitely struggled with doing things wrong because I was told to do them wrong. That would just like, that would ruin my whole fucking day. It's like, dude, what the fuck? I know a better way to do this. Or we're not supposed to do it this way. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, whatever. Literally the manual says not to do that. But I've been ordered to do that, even though the fucking manual right here says do not turn this on its side. Cool. You're ordering me to do this, Sergeant? Correct? Okay. All right. You're ordering me to do that. Got it.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
So how many?
Because in my head, I'm like, because when this gets fucked up, this is your fault, not mine.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So how many times did somebody tell you to do something the wrong way and you said yes, and then waited until they turned around and then did it the right way?
Fucking with it when it was expensive medical equipment or something like that, every time. When it was just like some other shit, like whatever, I'll do it your way. You know what I mean? Like fine. But if I knew that
Uh,
something might break or something, I was like, oh, you're not paid to think, soldier. Right.
yeah,
But the problem
exactly.
is that I'm thinking, and I can't cut that off, you know? Oh,
Yeah,
it was frustrating.
yeah. So the military is definitely hard for anybody that has common sense. I'm just saying.
It can be difficult.
Yeah.
I think of it, towards the end, you learn like to be a little blasé.
Hmm.
You learn that it's just not your responsibility, and I think you learn actually to extrapolate that, like, this is just how this machine works. And
Hmm.
it's like, you can't have everybody thinking for themselves because most people are idiots. And so if
Hmm.
every idiot is thinking for themselves, the machine doesn't work. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so it's like, even though you're wrong, the policies and procedures and the structure is right more often than it's wrong. And so you just
Right.
kind of go with it. And then I think you learn to let go a little bit. But I think that's really just the army beating you down to the fact that it's super hierarchical and dumb sometimes.
Right. Right. Yeah. Like we used to joke around and say, if the army really wanted your opinion, they would have issued you one.
Right? I
Same
played
thing with
that
a
game.
wife.
I played that.
Same thing with a wife.
I played that game with a car. They were like, "Private, you need a car." The whole time I was in, I was like, "I don't. You give me a car."
Yeah.
And it was like you bitch about every fucking soldier going out and financing a car at like fucking 21% interest, and now you're mad at me that I don't have a car? No, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
Give me I'll sign for a government vehicle. I'll sign the
Yeah.
paperwork for one. And eventually
Right.
they did. They broke because they got sick of picking me up and shit. And there was like, a lot of people were mad. That was like, I'm not getting a fucking car. It's not
Right.
happening. I'm waiting until I get
Yeah.
out. Like, that shit is. I'm not. No, I'm saving money. Like, and they would get so mad, and it was so stupid because they would get so mad about soldiers buying cars at high interest rates.
Right.
And then at the same time, they were always mad at me for not having a car. And they're like, you can get one on the lemon lot. And I'm like, I'm not buying. I'm in Fort Drum, New York.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying something that has been dogged on fucking sandy, salty snow for
Mm-hmm.
fucking a year. No,
Right. Yeah.
not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's definitely by design too. Never buy any car or anything like that around a military base ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe in the concept of predatory loaning. I think it's a bullshit commie talking point, right? How is a loan that you sign predatory? That being said, there are a lot of 18 and 19-year-olds that are fucking idiots that go and buy
Hmm.
shit. And it's mostly because they think that they're an adult now and, oh, I'm a soldier, I'm
Right.
an adult or whatever. And they don't do their due diligence and they get raked through the fucking coals. But you know
Hmm.
what? The rest of us get cheaper cars because some soldiers are idiots and they make their money
Right.
there. So,
Mm. Yeah. Very true.
you
Yeah.
know,
And I was one of those victims too. My dad, I was like, when I got to Fort Hood, I was like, I really need a car. I really need a car.
well, you don't want to
And
be walking near
yeah,
Fort Hood. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that was for your safety. You know what I mean? Like, you don't,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, Fort Hood's a
Yeah.
bad spot to be
Yeah.
alone at night with no car. Just throwing that
Right.
out there.
So I went and I got a car, and my dad was like, "Oh, don't worry," because my mom and dad were going to come out and, help me shop around and everything. And I thought I knew better, and I went out and got a car and high interest rate. But my dad was going over the contract, and he said, "You got lucky. You have a high interest rate, but it's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal.
Right.
You could have done worse." You know. Um. So yeah, I
Probably
think
some
like
rebate or something. So the
yeah,
interest rate was high, but the principal wasn't that high. So
right.
it's like, okay,
Yeah,
this is, they made a lot of money off of you. You could have got a better deal, but you didn't get a
right,
horrible deal type thing. Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly. So,
Y'all
and
gotta be here. Just a quick tip to anybody watching. Okay,
mhm,
before you buy any fucking car, get a finance app to allow you to do calculations because everything that they'll do it based off of the monthly payment.
mhm,
Okay, and you want to know how many months it is, what is the monthly payment, so that you can compare how much they're at because they'll trick you. They'll fucking trick you.
mhm,
They do this thing called the grind now,
right.
where they try and make it 4 or 5 hours for you to buy a car so that you're dumb and you'll fucking agree to all kinds of crazy interest shit and then sign
Yep.
on it. So get a finance app and be like, no, this is what I'm paying. And then number two, don't get a loan from the car company, get a loan from your bank.
Right.
And then go to the car company and be like, this is how much money the bank is giving me.
Mm-hmm.
What can I get with this?
Yeah. Yeah. And also, too, if you have a trade in that you want to trade in, wait until the end to say, oh, yeah, by the way, I have a trade in.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's good. That's good advice.
Yeah, because you want to wait until they give you that finance option, like, hey, this is what you'll be paying. And then that actually is like good advice. I saw that on a YouTube channel. Some credit kind of people, and check them out. I can't remember the name of the channel that I was watching, but I learned that.
I don't know.
But and also, I never buy new. I buy used. It's better, to buy used. My personal opinion on that, but to each is their own. But if you do buy used through a car company, that's where they really get you. Yeah, they won't put if you notice, if you go car shopping, they won't push the newer model on you. They'll always push the older because they can get more.
Yeah, they make more money. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's why they want that trade in so bad. Because they want to sell another used car.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So how did you maintain morale and motivation during difficult times while in?
Video games and vaping. Next question.
Quick one.
I was one of the original vapors, man. Like I had like the box mods and shit because I was a medic and I smoked, and then I had to quit smoking because you can't smell like cigarette smoke when you have patients, right?
Right.
That was a fucking nightmare. And nicotine, like I got an addictive family, you know what I mean? Like an addictive personality. I need something. Oh, he ordered a bike on deployment. That's wild.
No.
That's a terrible idea. Yeah, so video games and vaping. That's how I did it.
Yeah.
A booth in Kabul sounds like a great place to buy a motorcycle for sure. Best place.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in Bagram, Afghanistan too, they had a booth where they would sell you like Ford F-250s at like high market price, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry about it; it's tax exempt and blah blah blah." And they really get you. And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna wait until I get back to the States."
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Terrible idea.
Oh yeah. So vaping and video games. What video games were you playing?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. It's been a decade. They all bleed together, you know. Like I know I was gaming and watching, anime and shit. I just don't remember. I don't remember what I was. I genuinely don't remember what games I was playing.
Ours was definitely Halo. Halo, definitely. That was
I had a gaming computer, so like I was playing a lot of different stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. For others who served, how can we be more supportive and understanding towards each other?
Man, I don't know. That's a great question.
Yes, I forgot about Orange Julius. Yes. And Green Bean. Remember that?
I'm trying to think. I mean, like, I don't, I think we do a lot of ribbing. We do a lot of, you know what I mean? And I think that's actually healthy. And I think don't feel bad about that. Right. You know what I mean? Like fucking, I think it's more important to fuck with your friends than to lose the relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of times dudes in this new modern era are like so worried about being there for their friend or being
Mhm.
there for their buddies that they're like almost trying not to be negative. And I think the
Mhm.
bonding experience of so many soldiers um is one of like, you know, attacking each other to a certain extent.
Mhm.
Not like playful ribbing. I don't mean like,
Mhm.
genuinely trying to hurt the person. Right? But I
Right.
feel like, if you're on Facebook or you're texting your buddy or, you're, in a Discord server playing games together or something, right? Like it's perfectly fine and good to fuck with them and to
Mhm.
play with, play mild pranks or talk shit, right?
Mhm.
Because being there in a moment of vulnerability where like, they'll, if they're gonna reach out, they're gonna reach out to the dude that doesn't judge them and is just kind of present.
Mhm.
And like if you're trying to be the good guy, all you're gonna do is seem like you're too much of a hassle to be able to open up to.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I
that's
mean? Like
yeah.
if you're trying to be like the good person, it's like, like don't tell your friend, like maybe you mention once, twice, like, hey man, if you ever need to talk, I'm here. But like if
Mhm.
you're that guy that's like, if you ever need to talk, I'm here, man. You know I care, bro. Like
Mhm.
you're the person that they're gonna feel like it's a fucking chore to talk to.
Right.
Or that like you're gonna have too much to say. Or that
Mhm.
like or that there's gonna be, most importantly, that you're going to have too much emotions
Right.
and like they're already dealing with so many emotions in the moment that if something is really going on, like they're feeling suicidal or they're having problems or, like their relationships aren't panning out because they got anger issues because they don't know how to
Mhm.
fucking deal with some of their shit. They've already got enough of that. And if
Right.
you're the type of person that is already like this very sensitive emotion because you're trying to be there for your buddy because you know he's going through some shit,
Mhm.
let that go. Just be present and and have fun.
Right.
Because if you're present when shit hits the fan and they need somebody, they'll come to you.
Right.
But if
Right.
you're constantly trying to be like, if you're constantly trying to maintain this sense of sensitivity or that you're there, you've been listening to women too much. I'm sorry. Like you just have. You've been listening to women that go to that think that therapy sessions are like a mandatory thing in order to be healthy, even
Mhm.
though they've been going to the same therapist for fucking 2 years. Right? Like
Mhm.
like like this is bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
It's not actually meeting men where men are. And so if you want to fucking be helpful, be there. Just
Right.
be there. Don't fucking try and be the good guy. Don't try and be their support system.
Mhm.
Don't think about it like that. Just fuck around with your buddy. And I know everybody that's been in the military right now has a phone contact in their phone right now of somebody that they haven't texted in a year or 6 months that you should probably just hit up. Just be there.
Mhm.
Because there's
Mhm.
people right now that you're not there for that you don't need to be emotional. You just need to go grab a drink with them or send them some stupid fucking Instagram reels.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. And yeah, like I always tell my friends, I said, look, if I'm not making fun of you, then that
We're not
means I don't
friends.
like you. I don't like you.
Yeah, what it means that I don't feel comfortable saying
Right.
something because it's going to be a whole fucking problem, right? So I don't
Right.
rib you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking,
And
all
most
these fucking Gen Xers that are boomers in
right.
heart talking about Facebook Messenger. Oh, fucking, you're a boomer in spirit, all of you.
Right. Right. Yeah. I get what you're saying because like I'm I'm personally one of those type of people that like I'll rib with you, but
Mhm.
when it needs to be turned off, when I recognize that hey, something's up with you, dude, I
Right,
turn that off and I'm like, I won't even talk. I'm like, hey, yeah, he needs to talk. I
right.
don't
But I
need to
just like
give him advice.
imagine yourself right now. Imagine you're going through something really fucking hard, right? For whatever. Hey, now Gen X is the worst generation to ever exist. That's my opinion. That's my most controversial opinion so far tonight. Here's why. Here's why. The boomers ruined the country, and Gen X, you lead poisoned fucking dummies, you sat around and let the boomers run the country. And you know what? If you stayed fucking out of politics and out of shit, I wouldn't mind you guys. But now, for some fucking reason, they popped up around 2015, 2016, and they were like, the adults are back. And it's like, you've been asleep at the fucking wheel for 20 years, bucko. Like, millennials have been fighting all these fights. And then all of a sudden, you look at all these hearts from Gen X. I'm just fucking, this is the ribbing. This is the ribbing. Yeah. All right? You fuckers, and then all of a sudden they're like, I drink water out of the water hose. It's like, yeah, where water comes out? Shut the fuck up, man. Like, you know, like, stop. But anyways, but if you think about it, right? Like, you're going through some shit, right? Who are you going to talk to? Are you going to talk to like your friends, your girlfriend's boyfriend that's like real fucking nice to you? Or are you going to talk to one of your dude bros that like sends you the most fucked up dark shit from Instagram of like a fucking of like a Down syndrome kid getting an interview from a reporter and being like, what were you doing just before the fire? And he's like, yeah, we lost a lot from the fire. And like my matches and my hairspray, I was having a lot of fun with that. And then you see that and you're like, that guy, that's the guy you're going to talk to. You know, like that's when shit hits the fan. That's the guy you're going to be like, dude, I don't know how to say this to any, because there's dark shit, right?
Right.
And there's dark shit. We all have dark shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of you guys right now don't say it, but you know there's a time where you almost hit your wife. Mm-hmm. And then you saw yourself and you were like, am I that person? Is that who I am? Mm-hmm. Like, I punched a fucking wall because that's all I could do to not punch her in the face. You can't tell that to normal people. Right. You can't go public and say that. Mm-hmm. Right? Like that's what that friend is for. Right. And if you're going through something, talk to that guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what that friend is for. Because there's some shit you can't tell normal people. Right. Because all they're going to do is be like, what the fuck, dude? You know what I mean? Like, you're fucked up in the head. You know? Right. It's like, yeah, I need someone that understands that about me. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And that's someone in my chat goes. Eminem wrote a song about that. That guy. That's the guy you talk to. You know. Yeah. You contact that guy right there. He knows exactly what you fucking need. He does. He's like, dude, let's go get a beer, and we're gonna go fuck some shit up, dude. Let's do it. Right. And you're like, exactly. That's what I need. You know, yeah, for sure. So I think that's a really good point right there, man. And as we say, ranger up, just ranger the fuck up. So what was the most unexpected part of transitioning back home when you got out? I feel like the Army tried to do a really, really good job of explaining all the financial difficulties that come with like plopping back up into the real world. Mm-hmm. And I feel like literally everyone ignored it because they were trying to get their paperwork done and get out. Right. You know, like I think save up money, make a game plan. Because I think a lot of people that are in, you'll hear all this shit and then you won't listen to a fucking bit of it. Mm-hmm. And then you'll get home and you've got money. And it's like, man, it takes a while to get an apartment. It takes a while to find a new source of income. It takes a while to figure out just what you're doing with your life. It like all these other distractions and things play a role in that too, right? Like your psychological state of trying to transition back into the real world means that you're not really ready to fucking go get a normal fucking job a week after you get out, right? Like you need time. Yeah. And in order to have time, you need money. And you need a plan. So like, and I think a lot of people end up homeless because of that shit, man. Right. Like a lot of people do. And even the ones that are like, what? That's not going to be fucking me. I kind of know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And then like a lot of people get out and then it's like, oh fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I have to figure out rent. I have to figure out a job. I have to figure out a job interview now where you have to put in fucking 150 LinkedIn job applications to get like 3 returns.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's a lot. And I think I think the army kind of knows this statistically,
Hmm.
but they don't know how to connect to a soldier that's just ready to get the fuck out.
Right.
Um, so I think the finances is probably more important than all the emotional shit because
Hmm.
because they work together. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the emotional shit keeps you from getting your finances straight, and then getting your not having your finances straight makes all of the other emotional shit 10 times worse because you have
Right.
this like real world survival mode. And
Hmm.
survival mode is a dangerous thing for people. It's obviously not for me, but this is speaking from the experience of I went to grad school for counseling, right? So
Hmm.
just throwing that I have some limited knowledge, right? Um,
Right.
Survival mode is a dangerous thing for people that have PTSD.
Hmm.
Extremely dangerous, right?
Right.
Because I mean, the entire concept of PTSD from a from a neurobiological standpoint is essentially an enlarged amygdala, right? And the
Hmm.
amygdala is the fight or flight portion of the brain, right? It also deals with memory recall and
Hmm.
etc. And you know, traumatic brain injuries and PTSD kind of have the same effect on the amygdala. You know, the difference usually is restless leg syndrome. Hilariously enough, that's
Yeah.
usually the big difference between the two of them. Um, and so if you got restless legs at night, you might have a little bit of PTSD or TBI. Just throwing that out there,
Hmm.
especially if you're a veteran. But like the the biggest thing about PTSD for soldiers specifically, and you see this with cops as well, um, is this constant elevated state, right? It's not like getting raped. That causes
Hmm.
TB, you know, that causes PTSD. But it's like, well, why is it that soldiers' PTSD is so bad, right? And it's
Hmm.
because you have a elevated hormonal level and an elevated level of stress on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Then some shit happens, right?
Hmm.
When you're doing routes or you're doing patrols, et cetera. So when people get and so you get this conception around survival and this anxiety around survival where it's like, you know, oh, I had a buddy die because he didn't strap on something appropriately on this truck, right? So
Hmm.
now I lose my shit if someone doesn't put a trash bag back in the trash can. And I'm not
Right.
really necessarily connecting those two things. When you
Hmm.
get in survival mode, you exacerbate PTSD symptoms. When you're like,
Hmm.
where's my paycheck coming from? How am I going to keep the light bills on? All those things. Your brain defaults to that state that kept you alive in a previous experience.
Hmm.
And so, for the mental health reasons, it's so important to have your finances correct. It's
Right.
so like people drastically underestimate how important that is. Luckily, I didn't deal with any of that shit.
Hmm.
Luckily,
Right.
you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
learned about it in college, and I got some big words to go with it if you want them, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
throwing that out there. That's my opinion.
Right. Um, I mean, you kind of gave a little bit of advice, but what other advice would you give service members preparing to ETS or retire? Like, I know
Yeah, I mean,
most
I just kind of
people.
reiterate, right? Like
Yeah.
there's overlap. Get your finances straight. You know,
Yeah.
figure out where you're going to get a job. Figure out what your support system is,
Hmm.
right? Like, get confirmation that you can go to your dad's house or your mom's house while you
Right.
transition.
Yeah.
Don't just like think they're going to be there for you. Because some
Hmm.
of you have boomer parents and they love their cruises and telling their kids to fuck off, right? Like, make sure you have a support system. Make sure that you're already trying to find a job when you get out, or that you, at the very least, you have a game plan. Make sure that you have your finances set up, all that shit.
Right. Right. Yeah. And a
And
lot of a lot of times, the advice that I give a lot of people that are getting ready to get out or even just joining in, I tell them keep every single piece of paper that the army, the Marines,
yes,
whatever
yes.
gives you.
I
Keep
forgot about that.
every single
You
piece.
go fucking go and print copies of your DD two
Yeah.
fourteen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Every.
have multiple copies in multiple locations
Right.
of your DD
Right.
214 because you do not
Yeah.
want to have to go fucking get that shit
Yeah.
back.
Get.
You do not want to show up to your local base where they fucking issue cards and be like, and not have one,
Mhm.
and then be like, I need my copy of my DD 214. You're gonna find out
Right.
that there's a lot of paperwork to get your paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah. There is, and especially those that are like getting medically discharged. Definitely keep your medical because
Mm-hmm.
the VA surprisingly loses all your paperwork. And hell, I've had the VA say that they didn't have any evidence that I even served. I was like, then how did I get this? How did I get this? How did I get this? You know?
You must be Somalian.
Pretty much, I guess.
Yeah.
Um. So, what advice? We kind of went over that, but what advice would you give to someone considering joining the military today, other than don't?
Don't.
I know. I knew it. I knew it. That's. I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm against the I'm an anarchist now, right? I'm not going to
Right.
suggest people go into the military. If you're going to go into the military, you're dead set. I can't convince you not to go in because this is just some wacky anarchist idiot. He doesn't know my life, et cetera, et cetera. Then I'll say this. Green to Gold is an okay program. It's fine. You know, it's a better program. Going to college and having the Army pay for your college and then going into the Army as an officer.
Mm-hmm.
Take your bullshit patriotism of I want to be a fucking real soldier and all the shit you learn from fucking civilians and from Hollywood and shove that up your ass. It's dumb. If you have the ability to do well in college and you can like make decent grades, don't stop being a fucking idiot and go to a recruiter and they're going to lie to you and they're bring a military buddy or something, okay? And tell them, I want to join an ROTC program.
Mm-hmm.
They will pay for your, just like the GI Bill, and they're going to be like, oh, well, the GI Bill will let you get out of, shut up. I don't want the GI Bill. Fuck the GI Bill. I want to go to college. I want to fucking, and then get, you know, because a butter bar is a lot fucking better than a private. The pay's better, the responsibility's better, everything about it is better. The only downside to being in lower enlisted, I mean the only downside to being an officer instead of lower enlisted is if you're like a supreme genius, right? If you can get a perfect score or like a 98 on your ASVAB and get like a 130 plus on your GT, right? And you can do some really cool shit like be a cameraman. Sounds like a lame job. It's a cool fucking job, right? Or like, or you're super gung-ho and you want to be like EOD or you want to do some crazy cool shit. Then maybe joining lower enlisted and then getting your GI Bill is something to do afterwards. But if you're not going to be in intelligence or cameraman or doing some really cool shit, then fucking go get your college degree first and do the extra 2 years, do the 6 years instead of the 4 years. And I promise you 6 years as an officer is going to be way fucking better than 4 years as a private and a specialist.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Very true. Very true. But I will say, but with the green to gold in my purview, because I had a lieutenant that went green to gold. He was just
they're better officers.
He was
they're better.
Yeah, he was a better officer than those that actually went to college and came in as an officer.
Yeah, green to gold. Green to gold is good for the Army.
Yeah.
Fuck the Army. We're talking about you. What's good for you? What's good for you is ROTC and fucking not having to live in a fucking barracks, but living on post housing in a fucking apartment the day you get there, getting paid a lot more money, not getting the dog shit smoked out of you because the broom got put against the wall in the wrong place, right? Like, trust me. If you're going to trust me on anything, you're not going to trust me that the state is fucking horrible. You're not going to read Smedley Butler's War is Hell and take it from the most decorated veteran in all of U.S. history that the military is a fucking thing designed to make the wealthy elite and the bankers money, and it's not designed to do anything positive like so many people. If you're not going to take any of that, you're not going to take any of that advice. Trust me when I say being a butter bar is infinitely better than being a private.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Are there any are there resources or organizations that really helped you?
Nah, not really.
Okay. All right. I know there are some that have helped.
I didn't really struggle, to be honest. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I didn't have it that hard. I didn't have it bad.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, if you could go back in time, would you do it again? And what would you tell your younger self?
If I could go back in time, I would. I mean, with my current brain, I probably wouldn't do it again
Right.
because I'm morally against it. But if I went back in time and I was forced to like be like day one private, right? Like I'm already there.
Mm-hmm.
I would have fucking is I would have been a medic, and then when I got out, I would have gone straight to school to be a nurse. And then when I got done being a nurse, I'd have fucking I'd have fucking I'd have gotten in really good shape as a nurse, and then I would have been a travel nurse. And I would have been hanging out with the sluttiest of girls on the planet, which are travel nurses, as the one dude making six figures because we're going to some new fucked up place going all around the country. All right. That's probably what I would have done. Is it good advice to myself? No. But would it be a lot more fun than what I did when I got out, which was get married to some girl I got divorced to? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You
No.
know, I'm just being honest. Would I have
If
picked a
it,
different MOS?
yeah.
I was
Would you?
colorblind. I'm colorblind.
Oh.
So I had a perfect ASVAB score and like a 132 or somewhere around there GT score, and then they were like, you can be infantry or you can be a medic because I was colorblind. I was supposed to be intelligence, and because of my ASVAB and stuff, but then because the colorblind test came back, you can't work in military intelligence when you're colorblind because some things are color coded. Even though I can tell the fucking difference between colors, I just can't tell the difference between two really close together shades of green.
Right.
It was very dumb. One of the many dumb things about the military. So fucking yeah, I couldn't really pick a different MOS.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I guess I'll be a medic. That's cool. You know what I mean? Like it's better than infantry.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, that's interesting that you could have been in intelligence, because I actually was almost intelligence. I was going to be imagery analyst specialist or something like that. And the dude at the MEPS, I guess he was kind of new, and he was trying to refresh he was trying to click it for me, and he was trying to refresh it, and by the time he was able to get it to refresh, somebody in New York had already taken the one spot, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, that's not available. What else do you want to do?" And then he had another.
And if you
sergeant.
knew then, if you knew then what you know now, what you would have said is, "Cool, call me when the slot opens up."
Right.
And you'd have walked out.
Yeah.
And then you'd have waited a week or two, and then they'd be like, "Oh, there's a slot," and then you'd have been like, "Cool." Like if you knew then what you know now, you know what I mean? But you're like, "Oh, the slot's gone. Oh, I guess I'm fucked." No, you're not. Just tell them like, "Cool, when the slot opens up, let me know. You'll get your your recruit, their recruiter. Yeah. And they'll get it to you as soon as that slot opens up.
Yeah. And then, of course he was like going through the list, and I had a huge list of things I could pick from. And I was like, finally he had like a staff sergeant come in, because this guy was the E5. I had a staff sergeant come in, and he's like, "All right, well, what do you want to cook it, kill it, or what the heck did he say? Do you want to kill it, cook it, or
blow it up?"
Yeah, no, he said, "Do you want to cook it, kill it, or fix it?" And I was like,
"Oh, okay."
I was like, "Kill it," And he's going through the list, and he goes, "How's this sound to you?" And I'm like, something stupid. And then he got to chemical operations specialist, and I was like, that sounds cool as fuck. Let me do that. And then little did I know that my job would be a car washer and laundry dude. Basically, that's what we do. Decon is car washing. But we did do some cool stuff.
Damn. Damn, dude. Damn. You got boned, dude.
Well, that's the joke.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you bring a soldier or a veteran with you.
Yes. Yes, you do. You bring somebody that knows what they're talking about with you. Um, because there's a lot of stuff the recruiter won't tell you, MEPS won't tell you. When you're getting out, they won't tell you nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's
I wish I'd been shorter. Because if I was
yeah.
shorter, I could have gone and done like a flight medic or something. But I'm too tall to
Mm,
be a flight medic.
no. Um. Wait. Okay. So, what does being a veteran mean to you personally?
Yeah, mine's going to be very different for most people.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it means that I have experience with the state and have a better understanding of why the state is bad.
Hmm.
Well, like as an example, right? Like one of the things that made me a libertarian more than anything happened
Hmm.
when I was in the military. And why didn't I? Someone asked me why I didn't go in the Air Force because I had tattoos, and at the time they
Mm.
were not accepting people with tattoos.
Yeah.
Uh, that's it. That's literally the only reason I was in the Army and not the Air Force. Um, the only people that were taking them were Marines and Army, so I went Army.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but one of the things that happened to me was we were doing post deployment health reassessments, right?
Hmm.
Which was 90 days after the post deployment health assessment, everybody comes back and does a whole nother health assessment. Because the Army realized that like when you first get back from deployment, everybody is just so excited that they'll say whatever to get through the process,
Hmm.
and people aren't
Right.
very open about what their issues are. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's simple medical issues, like yeah, my fucking knee has been killing me. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, but when you first get back and you want to see the kids and you want, like you don't even think about that. You're just trying to
Hmm.
get through this process, right?
Right.
Or if you're having mental health issues, you first come back, everything's fine. Now all of a sudden you're trying to transition life back in the States and you find out, your wife's been fucking Jody and, you know, you kind of want to kill people still, you know, shit's a little different. You know what I mean? It's a little
Right.
different than it was the day you got off,
Right.
and just all kinds of shit like that, right? And so we're going through these post deployment health reassessments and the airfield. So I was at Fort Drum, and so there was a 10th Mountain is there, and a
Hmm.
portion of 10th Mountain is at the airfield. So they're kind of separate from the base. And they had just gotten back from Kandahar. Okay. And the thing about being at the airfield is they don't have a hospital there, which
Hmm.
means when they go to the doctor or when they go to sick call, they go to sick call and then they all kind of get rounded up in a van or something if they can go through sick call, right?
Hmm.
So they get put in like so you have to go through a doctor essentially to see if you can go to sick call,
Right.
go to the hospital for your shit. And what we discovered, me and a nurse practitioner, essentially, we were going through stuff when they were talking about their medical issues, is we had I want to say I can't remember the exact number. I want to say it was like 11 soldiers
Hmm.
that had serious and some of them life-threatening medical conditions. And they had been going to the doctor, and the doctor had just called them a malingerer and told them to fuck off and wouldn't let him go to wouldn't let him go to the hospital.
Right.
Like one guy's heart rate was like we had to send him to the hospital immediately. He was having heart issues,
Hmm.
right? Which means that this doctor's not even taking their blood pressure when he's saying like, "Man, something's wrong with my chest. My heart feels like it's about to pop out of my chest."
Hmm.
One guy had shin splints so bad that he had to have surgery on his legs,
Hmm.
right? There was some other minor and but like they were to varying degrees, but all of them were serious medical conditions where they needed to go to the doctor. And it was like when it's one soldier, that happens. You know what I mean? People slip through the cracks, shit happens. But
Hmm.
when we start getting into the double digits, it's like, okay, no, this doctor's a fucking problem. Like these dudes
Hmm.
just got back from fucking Kandahar, right? Like they didn't like this is not an easy fucking deployment. And like you have this doctor that's just telling them to fuck off, you're a malingerer, you're not allowed to go to the hospital when they have
Hmm.
serious medical conditions. And so once we gathered the information, we went up the chain of command, went to the colonel, nothing happened. We emailed the colonel, we're talking to the colonel, we're doing like, dude, something needs to happen. So then eventually we were kind of forced to go to IG. And
Right.
we were in the same building as IG, right? And then the reason it's important to know that we were in the same building as IG is I was like smoke buddies because even though I vaped, I couldn't vape in the building,
Right.
right? So I was go to the smoke shack where all the people are smoking cigarettes with like a guy from IG, and eventually once we took it to IG because like the colonel was doing nothing, he was sitting on this for months. It's like, no, this dude is a danger to soldiers that just got back from deployment. Like, this is a problem. He basically came and he told me without telling me, through innuendo, that the doctor in question that we're talking about is really well connected. And that I'm going to be the one that ends up under a probe and investigation and in trouble. And she's going to lose her job if I keep barking up this tree.
Right.
So to this day, I'm still really ashamed of this, but I don't know what else I could have really done, but I still feel a deep sense of shame. I was like, oh, okay, well then I guess you can lose that paperwork. So, like, I tried, you know what I mean? I went up to chain of command, nothing happened. I went to IG, and IG is telling me this guy's super well connected. All right, cool, I'm done.
Right.
And like, that was kind of like a pivotal moment for me that like, oh, this is how government works. Like, this is how government works when you're connected, when you have friends in high places, is that regular soldiers get chewed up and spit out and abused that are they're most vulnerable at the expense of others. And like, I was like, oh, that's how government works. That was I would not be a libertarian probably if not for that specific experience. Right. Like, my politics were in combination of being in the military, but also that, and also, like I said, the sense of shame. You know what I mean? That like I gave up when the going got tough, and I realized I probably did more than most soldiers would have done. They probably would have just given it to the chain of command and then been like, "Oh, okay, not my monkey, not my circus," right? Right. And yeah, like, so I mean, like, that was a big deal to me, and like my experience in the military that like informed how I see the world and how I view politics. Right. Yeah. Cheers. I'm drinking water.
I no, you're fine. I know I've had some similar experience, not to that extent, but, and I'm pretty sure there's been others that have seen that kind of where, somebody's connected, that you see it.
It's like, I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. I didn't do anything crazy really, but like, nothing really happened to me. Like, I'm no victim here, but it's just like, I fucked up. Right. It's like, it's one of the big moments. There's only a couple moments in my life I'm genuinely ashamed of. And like, that's one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even when you get out, like you go through the VA, it's so political in that too.
I got forced to go through the VA.
Yeah.
My first sergeant tried to kick me out of the military. I broke my ankle. I've fucked up my shoulder. I've fractured my right hip. And then when I fractured my right hip, that's when I learned that I have a genetic disease. And then they came to me and they were like, "Hey man, you can leave the Army right now and take your GI Bill and everything. You're good to go." And I was like, "No, I fucking signed up to do my time, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life. Like, I want to serve, I was all gung ho still." And so I did. And then I broke my ankle, and like, my first sergeant was one of those like not in my Army types.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was doing room inspections on me all the time, being like, "Where are you hiding the candy, you fat fuck?" And I wasn't even fat. I passed weighing tape every time.
Yeah.
But he just hated me. He had it in for me. And then the day I got off profile for my ankle at Fort Drum in the winter, he had me take a PT test outside. And I passed the push-ups, I passed the sit-ups, and then I failed the run by like 20 seconds or like 12 seconds or something. Yeah. And there's ice on the roads at nighttime, and it's like negative 12 degrees or some shit.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Ha ha ha, now I'm going to med board you. I'm getting you out of my Army." And like I never would have gone through that process at all or even thought to go through it. And then he med boarded me and I'm like, well, who's laughing now, you dumb fuck? Like you like I was here for the GI Bill. I wasn't even gonna do this. And when I went and I stayed in the unit the whole time that I was doing it, because I'm in a medical unit, you know what I mean? I'm like, I didn't need to be transferred to another unit. I work at an office job. And he just hated me because I was non-deployable. Because they found out that I had a connective tissue, a rare degenerative connective tissue disease is how it's defined by the Army. And so it's like, but when I was there, I was like, there were people that were like, there were so many people that were doing everything they could to game the system to like get more out of it and shit. I'm just like, I'm here because my first sergeant made me come here. Like, what are you guys doing? And it's like, nah, dude, I have sleep apnea. You better get that on the record. And it's like, fucking sleep apnea? Like, what is, what, that's a thing you get paid for? And it's like, yeah, dude. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But it is very political. It's like the connected people all end up like full disability, and like the low-B soldiers end up with nothing, or they get just PTSD by itself. And it's like, dude.
Yeah. Which sucks, for sure. And then you were talking about like the people that gain the system. Like there's some people that went through the VA, they are collecting VA benefits, disabled, and you're kind of looking at them and you're like, you were a FOBIT or you didn't deploy. Like, how do you have 100% disability?
Me. Well, not 100%, Jesus Christ, but
no, I know somebody that has 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't even a FOBIT because I didn't deploy. A FOBIT is an upgrade for me, and they're still paying for me. I did break some shit, and it's, I didn't know when I didn't know when I went in I had a connective tissue disorder. I just thought it was normal that all your joints hurt, and I was 6'5" and was like, I'm tall. That's cool. I didn't know that was the thing. The gift that keeps on giving, that would be herpes, right? You have herpes? Is that what you're telling the chat? That you specifically have herpes. The gift that keeps on giving.
I think he's saying he's got herpes.
Yep. He's saying he's got herpes. I mean, I'm sorry for you, bro. Do they give you disability for that in the Army, or is?
I think is that what it is? 10% disability for herpes?
Hold on, I'm looking this up. I bet there's a thing.
Yeah, it probably is. Hey, Rescue, what's up, man? Yeah, I never claimed
no way.
What?
VA rates herpes under diagnostic code 7806 using the skin rating criteria with ratings from 0% to 60%. You can get up to 60% disability for herpes.
PTSD, not herpes, but
yeah, that's what he tells everybody. That's what he tells everybody.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Oh man, yeah, that's what he tells everybody. Yeah,
what's his medicine? It's for PTSD. It's for anxiety. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Been symptom free for 6 months. From
you
PTSD.
Never know if it all fails. Probably has gonorrhea, so that's 100% right there.
That is a term I have not heard in a long time. Is that a military term? Because I got it from my dad, but then my dad was in the Army. Is gonorrhea syphilis a fucking just an Army thing?
I think it's a military thing. I've heard Marines say it too.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. You learn
crazy.
Something new every day. I just thought that was a thing that was said. I just realized. You just made me realize that's probably an Army thing.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
I never
Incarceritis.
Thank God. So we're getting closer to the end, but
closer.
Yeah,
let's go.
Closer.
Let's go. I'm a chatty Cathy. All right.
Yeah. So best MRE, worst MRE.
Best memory I already told you, which was the pistachio thing. That was my best
no,
memory.
MRE,
without a doubt.
MRE.
Oh, best MRE?
Meal. Yeah, and worst MRE.
I would always trade for the jalapeno cheese if I could.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I mean, like that's probably what I'm going with. And then worst one is just whatever is the vegetarian one they're giving out that day. It
Oh,
almost always
yeah.
sucks. Like I get it, you
Oh,
got to have stuff. The chili mac, yeah, the chili mac was
yeah.
good.
Chili Mac's good.
But like I
Spaghetti and
think it
meat
was
sauce was good too.
that bread was always fucking horrific.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
fucking bread that would come with the peanut butter or the jalapeno
Yeah.
cheese spread was always fucking
Yeah.
bad. But that being said, the vegetarian ones are always the worst. Like I
Oh,
get it, the
yeah.
Muslims or whatever have to have their fucking thing, but like,
Yeah.
nah, dog, don't miss me with that
Yeah.
shit.
Are you talking about the veggie omelet? Is that the one? Because that's the
That's
worst
one
one
of
I've
them.
ever.
There's like a
Yeah.
veggie. There's a bunch of vegetarian options when I was young,
Yeah. The chili mac was
and they were
10/10.
always
Yeah.
bad. It was like a penne pasta one that was like vegetarian or something. It was
Yeah.
garbage. It was like a knockoff chili mac, to be honest.
The one that I always went for though is I went for the grilled chicken because it always had the best snacks in it. Had the
Okay.
jalapeno cheese spread, it had M&Ms, it had I think it had a pound cake. It did have that worst bread in it, but I never ate that stuff, but it always
Yeah.
had the best snacks, and it's so bad that you choose the best MRE just on the snacks.
Yeah, yeah. It's the cheese spread was it for me. Like it was like
Yeah.
I don't care what it is if it's got the jalapeno cheese spread in it. Like I'm fucking that up.
Right. Right. For
But
sure.
I'm a fatty at heart, so I'd eat the bread even though it was garbage.
Yeah. So you did tell us one of the funniest moments you experienced during service, the pistachio. Do you want to share another one?
Dude, I can't top that. Like that's it. You know what I mean? Like
The
roll it back. If
pistachio.
you're getting to this
Yeah.
point of the stream and you're like,
Yeah.
"What did I miss?" Go
Yeah.
back to the beginning. That
So,
was
yeah.
nothing was as funny as that in my entire time in the army.
Right.
Period. Point
Yeah.
blank.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And I'm
I
pretty
also
sure
think it's a mindset thing too, right? Like
yeah.
there's a certain bond that you lose the moment you leave. Maybe because I wasn't in a combat unit or anything, because I went into like a medical kind of like with a bunch of civilians in it, you know?
Likes
So, but
likes
yeah,
the
you know what I mean?
flatbread.
Like,
Ugh.
ugh.
Like the flatbread. What's wrong with you? Ugh.
But yeah, I was like, once I got into the quote unquote real army, I wasn't in the real army. I was in a
Mm.
medical unit in a like working with mostly civilians. So it's just like a long, arduous job.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. So what piece of gear would you never want to carry?
A piece of gear would I never want to carry again?
Yeah.
Um, fucking medical bag with fucking bags of saline in it,
Oh,
just
yeah.
sloshing around. Because the weight isn't fucking like the weight isn't in one place. It's moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like with every like as you're rucking and you're getting tired, like it's whoa 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 whoa. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean it's packed tightly. There's a bunch of other shit in there, but I mean yeah, I guess that. Luckily, I didn't
Right.
have to do a lot of that shit again because I was a fucking
Yeah.
pogue, But when I did have to do that, I was like, dude, fucking fuck this.
Yeah. Yeah.
The IED, and my roommate says the IED diaper. I don't know that I ever had to carry that.
IED
Yeah, no,
diaper.
fuck. I think he's talking
Huh?
about the dick plate.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. If it all fails, said 240 Bravo and ammo. I would agree. I would agree.
I never had to carry that shit. So
Yeah.
fucking sucks to be you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a 249 gunner, like every unit I was with, and it wasn't until I got with the 82nd that we actually had the short barreled and collapsible buttstock 249, which got rid of a lot of weight. That was fun carrying that, but all the other 249s, I was like,
I
no.
imagine it just easier to carry too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was really, really good whenever it came to room clearing because trying to maneuver that longer 249 was just it wasn't meant for room clearing.
I was about to say, I was like, how the fuck do you room clear with that?
Oh, Yeah, you do what you normally you don't do the room clearing because the 249 is or the 240 Bravo is usually always the perimeter defense,
Right.
keep people out.
Right, right,
And
right.
yeah, but we've done it with the 240 uh 240 Bravo and 249, and I
That
think
feels like one of
that's
those moments where it's like, why are you telling me to do this, man? These are
yeah,
your orders.
right,
This is not right. This
right,
is not like I was like I'm not even gonna be. I'm. Didn't we have this whole thing about the fatal funnel, and you want me to have
right.
this gargantuan fucking monster in that spot? Like,
Yeah,
didn't we do a whole thing about not being in this area for the shortest amount of time possible? And now I'm carrying this fucking monster with me. This is a
right.
terrible idea.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I told you to do it. Oh,
Right.
cool.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It basically exactly that,
Yeah.
and a lot of times I actually did question. I was like, isn't this kind of overkill for room clearing? Or is this am I actually supposed to use this, or is this more of a fear
Hey
factor that
man, hey
I
man, they
just
don't have regulations on the walls. If I shoot this shit, are we taking down the fucking building? Like
right,
you know what I mean? Like a lot of these places, the walls you can just like put your arm through.
right.
Am I gonna load this bitch into a fucking room? I'm gonna just I mean,
Yeah.
cool, whatever's in front of it's gonna die, sure.
Right.
But like is this even a good idea if there's more than one room in this building? Like,
Right. Right.
yeah,
It's like yeah,
I'm
I
with you
think
in
it was
spirit.
yeah. I think it's more of a fear tactic, like Haji sees
That'd
that
be
coming in and they're like, "Oh shit, I give up."
yeah, yeah.
You
Can you
come
say
in
that
with
on
a bunch
YouTube?
of I don't know. Um
well,
don't
well, we
care.
did. We'll
We
see.
did. Yeah, you know. Um because I mean, Hachi's going to see a bunch of rifles coming, they're like, I'll fight." They see a big hunk of junk like that coming in, they're like, "I've never seen one of these so close up before. It looks kind of scary. What is this? I don't know what it does. I just, you know,
You're like a super villain coming in,
yeah,
man. Like fucking
yeah,
this fucking Iron Man gun over here. He's walking into rooms with it.
yeah. That's true. 240 Bravo.
Oh yeah, yeah, the 240 Bravo. Well, you know
Yeah,
me, I was fucking typing on a keyboard and
yeah,
fingers, after a
yeah.
while they
Right.
get stressed out.
So last question. Most underrated military skill.
What do you mean by that? Like
Um, Something that like what is a skill that maybe the military teaches you that um doesn't get as much hype as it should. It could be like
I don't
some
know that it deserves hype,
yeah.
but I will say that in the business world, it can be very like uh, the technical term for this is going to sound really stupid. The technical term for this is scientific communication.
Mhm.
The real word for this is writing good emails. That is a complete nobody values that whatsoever. But when you
Mhm.
have a hierarchy of rank and when you have to CC people who can ruin your fucking life,
Mhm.
you learn how to appropriately craft, edit an email. You learn how to get all of the necessary information in an email without droning on. You learn how to have effective communication skills via an email. And that is a
Mhm.
skill that 100%, if you were in the military for an extended period of time, you learned that
Mhm.
is actually super helpful that no one I think will ever be like, "Oh, that's a good skill, man." You know what I mean? Like it's not a cool answer. There's nothing sexy about that answer. But you know how to like just read an email from like a Gen Z employee at a
Mhm.
job and you'll be like, "What in the fuck is going on in their
Mhm.
brain?" Like
Right.
there are acronyms in here, like it's a text message. The grammar is fucked. There's way more. There's way more information in here than I need. Like you are wasting my fucking time by communicating with me this way. Like you might as
Mhm.
well just knocked on my door and told me what you needed. That's a
Right.
skill you 100% learn in the military that I think is completely underappreciated because it's the least sexy thing ever. But
Mm-hmm.
there's my answer. Packing is what my roommate said. Super fucking true. That's a better answer than the one I gave, to be honest. That's such a better answer. My roommate's in my chat right now, just fucking off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fucking right. Packing.
Right.
God damn it. That's what I should have said. That was the cooler answer too.
Yeah.
But I still
Yeah.
stand by my answer's correct, but your answer is better.
Right. Right. I would
Packing.
say his. I would say his is like, man. You learn how to pack.
He said, "Well, I was a
and
real
you
soldier." LOL. All right. All right. That's
you
true.
learn
It's
how to
true.
pack a lot of stuff into a tiny space. So yeah, uh, especially when you ranger roll a bunch of stuff, you do it just right. And that was one of the things I actually don't do that anymore. Like, I'm so glad being out. I don't have to pack like that. I don't have to have my dress
Right.
drawers
That
like that.
skill. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If you
Yeah,
got
I still know
you
that
got a
skill.
small piece of luggage and you gotta like you're going on a trip and they're like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to fit all your clothes, honey. And this and be like, you have no fucking idea. I have
Yeah.
a certain set of skills.
Right.
Okay, that make me a
Right.
dangerous man on this suitcase.
Right. Like, oh, is that all you're taking? Is a carry-on? Yeah, that's all I'm taking.
Your
It's
carry
got all
on
my
weighs
stuff
too
in.
much. You have to pay extra money. How the fuck does this small carry on weigh so much?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
It's interesting conversation. I had fun, Mike. It was nice to meet you. And everyone should read War is Hell by Smedley Butler. Or War is Racket, sorry. War is Hell is one of the last lines. War is a racket.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you being up here, Scott. It was very interesting conversation, and um, I would be happy to have you on again. We're gonna.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I have a genuine question as it pertains to politics. Because this is something I need a military guy to answer. Because I've brought this to multiple people and they all just deer in headlights me. Right? Discussing the invasion of Venezuela. One of the things that I feel like nobody is fucking talking about is that Venezuela was one of the is one of the major importers for Chinese military technology throughout South America, or I should say was. And when we went in, one of the things that I believe is the first field testing of the JY27s and the JY27Vs, which is the radar, the quote unquote stealth killer mobile radar systems. And we butt fucked that in like 15 minutes. And like, I was like, I think that's a very, I don't know, right? But to me, that feels like a very significant thing in terms of geopolitics, because there has been a growing thing where much of Europe and many countries throughout the world, and even our own American citizens, have this like anxiety or fear that like Chinese technology is catching up, caught up to us, or surpass us in some way in terms of military capabilities. And it's like, this shit was made in the mid 2020s. Right? Specifically the V's, right? And like, I don't know what we use to take it out. Nobody does, right? Unless you, and if you do, operational security, don't fucking tell anybody, right? You're not supposed to let anybody know, right? But I'm just curious what your opinion is on that, because I feel like that may have changed the way. I feel like that changes the psychology of what's going on in terms of America's ability to invade, not necessarily the actual ability, but like the way the world looks at us in that, and the way China looks at that, and especially like the Dowder memo in terms of like whether or not China invades Taiwan.
Well, I do know that I've heard that when they used that technology, that they were actually other countries that were freaking out, to include China, that was trying to boost their radar systems in order to pick up
The stealth planes that we have, especially the
Yeah, the
new
stealth
one. I
plane.
can't remember the name of
Yeah,
it.
I can't remember it either. But how that changes is changes the dynamic globally. I believe it just shows that yes, China is, getting up there in technology, and a lot of people are worried about how, a lot of products here in America are Chinese made.
Right.
That actually shows China that, they're not the techno how do you say it? Technological.
Technologically
Yeah,
superior, maybe.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. And it's and I know that there's also some other technology too that we don't even really know about. Like I've heard rumors
Yeah.
about
Because
that
I know
was
that like
used.
JSOC was in Nigeria a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then right after JSOC gets out of Nigeria, we have this invasion of Venezuela. And then we have this really vague thing of like, um, we took out the entire energy grid of Caracas, and nobody had any, nothing had any power.
Hmm.
And I'm like, not even the fucking, but the air system, the anti-air systems did, but they
Hmm.
took that out so quickly. And it's like, I almost like, this is like my 1% conspiracy theory. Like, were we testing out some new shit in Nigeria? Were we just playing around before we went and invaded? Cause we got some
Probably.
new shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's like, and I know people have been, clamoring about Chinese drones and stuff. It's like, dude, like
Hmm.
4 came out in like 2019,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
2018. It's like, we've got mobile systems and like wide net EMP and laser systems for specific stuff. And I'm sure
Right.
we're testing shit that we're giving the Ukrainians, right? Like,
Hmm.
I
Oh yeah.
highly doubt the Ukrainians pulled off those hidden drones that went and found planes in Russian airfields without our help. Like, let's be honest,
Right. Yeah.
that was probably us. Like, we got some toys we want to test out. Will you test
Right.
out some of see how this works? But yeah, I just like, it's just been a thing that it's like nobody seems to be talking about in this whole Venezuela situation. And it's like,
Hmm.
well, obviously Venezuela was a part of BRICS. Obviously, this
Hmm.
is our trying to protect the US petrodollar
Hmm.
and,
Right.
you know what I mean, and regain that oil, as well as making sure that oil is traded in US dollars so we can offshoot
Hmm.
our inflation and stuff. But the thing that nobody's talking about is like how much advanced Chinese weapon technology was there. And it's like,
Right.
were they just incompetent in using it, or was it, or do we just got better shit? I don't know,
I don't.
but it's
I
like,
don't know.
I feel like it changes the
I
dynamic when their best shit gets trampled over in 30 minutes.
Right.
You
Right.
know, like I've
Yeah, I also heard too, and I don't know how true it is, but
mhm.
several other countries, had I guess they had some knowledge that something was going to happen in Venezuela because they had
Everybody
some.
knew. Anybody
Yeah,
with half a brain knew
yeah,
when we were blockading them and shooting their fucking boats
right,
that like
right,
shit was about to pop off, right? Like,
yeah,
everybody with a brain knew not
right. But
when.
they, I know a couple of countries. China was one of them. Had some tankers sneak past. I don't know
Mhm.
how, but I've heard rumors about it. But I can't find anything concrete that says that they really did. But uh, I think they did. But they basically
Yeah, I just
pulled out their oil assets.
yeah, because like my hypothesis, right, is that you have a lot of countries. I mean, like every country in South America is kind of like, sealing up the Western Hemisphere. I've been saying this for a while now that I think,
Hmm.
you know, um, need need the extra oil to fund that Greenland purchase, maybe. Um, those people can be bought. I mean, most of
Yeah.
them are just getting money from the Danes.
Hmm.
But that it seems like Trump is kind of trying to create an American empire. But regardless, South America recognizes every country in South America recognizes they can be a satellite state of the US or they can be a satellite state of China. Those are your two choices,
Hmm.
right? And I think, many of the socialist dictators don't want America there because they're going to be out of power
Hmm.
and the gravy train is kind of up for them. But I also think, China, they're like Hezbollah and like other groups and things that maybe they don't really want there are kind of being there. But I
Mhm.
think I wonder to what degree was the confidence of socialist dictators in South America of the ability to defend themselves with Chinese technology, and how has that how does that internally with their military generals changed now that we have a field test of
Mhm.
their supposed stealth killers
Yeah.
not doing
Well,
shit?
right.
I don't know.
Right.
And it's like
Well,
I
I
ask
mean,
people about this and they're like, and I'm just like, and that's everywhere I go. And I'm like, well, fuck, why
it's
is no one talking about this? This seems important. Maybe
it's
I'm just weird in focusing on this. I don't know.
it's definitely it's definitely overconfidence because Maduro was actually like testing Trump, and he was like, "Come at me, I'm right here,"
Yeah, I
and
called
it
him a
was like,
coward. Yeah.
"Yeah, you're a coward," and it was like, "Peekaboo," we're here, and he's like, and he's probably in his bed going, "Oh shit, they're here," you know.
Yeah, let's be
Um,
honest. So he did make a phone call to him and shit. And I feel like
yeah,
most of that is like, hey man, I had to give a speech, right? You know what I mean? Like, this is
right.
for the people. You know what I mean? Like, don't come fuck me up. You know. But I'm just wondering, like, how does like I'm just like I feel like this changes things in Cuba and Colombia, right?
Oh yeah,
Especially when Trump is at there going, fucking telling the telling the leader of Colombia needs to quote unquote watch his ass. It's like that's wild.
yeah,
Oh God,
yeah.
nobody told us the end of times would be so fucking entertaining.
Mm, right. Yeah, it is crazy, and we have no idea how far the technology has gone, especially with space. Space Force. They're, I mean, how?
Pretty tight-lipped, aren't they? Space
Yeah,
Force is pretty
tight
fucking
lip.
tight-lipped.
Yeah,
They're so
yeah,
tight-lipped that
and
you're like, oh yeah, that is a thing, isn't it? Like
yeah, yeah,
people forget Space Force exists.
yeah.
They're that fucking tight-lipped.
Right. Except for like guys in my brotherhood, we joke
Yeah,
about
for
it,
sure,
because we always joke, like, hey, Coast Guard, guess what? You guys are no longer the laughing stock
dude.
anymore.
Right? There's some fucking some of those guys that are just like
Yeah.
some of those puddle boys, just being like, oh fuck yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
right.
Wingspan since Space Force has those space lasers now. Oh Jesus
Yeah.
Christ! Oh
Yeah.
no,
No.
the joke that came to mind, I don't know that I can make, but yeah, it was nice meeting you, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know,
You too,
if you ever
Scott.
want to chit chat or hop in stream, make sure to
Yeah.
make sure if you're interested in military shit, tactics, weapons systems that come out in the news and
Hmm.
interviews with other veterans and stuff that you guys give them a follow. Not many people on tonight, mostly because
Yeah.
it's a little late and it's
Yeah.
not my
It
normal type
is.
of content. And if you want to look at libertarian philosophy and political conversations
Yeah.
or debates,
Yeah.
come on over.
Yeah. If you know any veteran females, I actually want to start a debate. I want to mod a debate between two veteran females, one affirmative, one negative, on should women be in combat roles. And I
Mm,
think that would be a great debate. I'm having trouble trying to find those that want
that's
to
fair.
debate. So if anybody knows anybody that female veteran, it doesn't have to be. I would do it for two male veterans, or hell, a civilian versus a veteran, or two civilians. You know, I think,
Yeah, if you know anybody,
yeah,
Chad, if you know anybody, DM me in the Discord, or actually add him. He's in the Discord.
yeah, yeah.
So
I'm
just
in the
at
Discord.
mayhem in my Discord if you find anybody, or DM him since you're sharing
Yeah,
the same thing.
yeah. I
But
think it would be a interesting debate for sure.
we're right at the 2 hour mark. I
Yep.
appreciate your time,
Yeah.
Mike. Peace.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Scott. Talk to you later.
Hell yeah.
All right. And that completes our veteran voices with Scott telling us his story, and not what most of you probably would have expected, but everybody has their own opinion, and it's very valuable here on Battlefield Production Veteran Voices. Hopefully, it helped you guys out. Hopefully, you guys had a great time. And remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget, life is a battlefield. Prepare to conquer it. God bless everybody. Thank you for the stream.
Let's see.